All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. We got to stop the bleeding. We have got to stop the bleeding. Does anyone have like some heavy gauze or something? Because look at that record, 27-29. We're now at a 48% win rate, which just maybe 4 or 5 days ago, we were at a 62.5% win rate. So needless to say, we've had a rough 5 days or so. But guys, we do have some work to do. We do have a great Halloween slate. Happy Halloween, but we got 5 games. And we might as well jump right into it because we got to stop the bleeding. You know, we got to give ourselves an adrenaline shot. We got to get back out there and win some money. So let's start it off with Kings at Mavs. I was surprised to see this line. Dallas opens up at 4.5 points, and the total is 219. Dallas is coming off a ridiculously bad loss to Denver. 75 points I think they scored, and Denver had over 100, and they really just didn't show up. And I think that's why there might be a little bit of an overreaction here when it comes to this point spread, because so far, Sacramento, at least to me, has looked like the better basketball team. And I'm looking at their historic matchups. Sacramento has covered this number 4 of the last 5 times that they've played. I really like Sacramento here. I think that they are sort of a slept-on team. I've slept on them this year. They were the best bet for us a couple nights ago, and it hit big time. I think Sacramento's – I don't think that they're getting enough credit here. I think Vegas is valuing that bounce box spot from Dallas, which is totally fair. But if you're going to give me 4.5 points, and maybe it'll even go the other direction, who knows, I'm going to go with that. So you'll find a 4.5 point ticket for the Sacramento Kings on my ticket tonight, because I just feel like they are the better team. And even if they don't win this game outright or anything, I do really think that they end up probably keeping it to like 3 points or something. They have no injuries. Porzingis, I think, is questionable. So I am going to be riding with Sacramento. So I'm going 4.5 points Sacramento tonight. And hopefully they cover again for us, because they've done it a couple times now. So hopefully we're riding with that. I do think that they are generally just the better basketball team in this game, and they're getting 4.5 points. Sign me up for that. Moving on to the Blazers and Hornets. Blazers, they're just a point favorite, and the total is 230. Now, these are two teams that can really, really push the pace. I think the Blazers are finally starting to, I don't know if I would say hit their stride, but a couple wins in a row now. And whereas Charlotte has been sort of up and down after that loss to Boston, their first loss of the year, now they're 1-2 in their last 3. I would probably lean Blazers here, but I don't think that this is going to be a play that I have. Make sure to keep an eye on the pinned comment, because if I do roll with this, I will let you guys know there on my final ticket. But I don't think I'm gonna touch this, because I really do like that Charlotte team. Portland doesn't play any defense. Charlotte doesn't really play any defense. When you have two teams like that, I don't know if you can really, it's essentially a pick 'em, So who's gonna make more shots tonight? I don't know. And then that total 230, I would definitely lean. I want to head. I can go back. I think it's a great number. I could see this being a 116 to 114 game and pushing. So I'm not going to touch that either. We do have a player prop of the night in this game. So make sure to tune into that. It's at the end of this video. So we do have some action on this game, but I don't think I'm touching any of those numbers. If anything, I might lean Portland -1. So keep an eye on the pinned comments. Jazz at Milwaukee. This is going to be a good game. Both teams played last night. You'd think, okay, back to back, right? But both teams didn't even score 100 points. Both teams had a pretty tough loss. Utah losing to the Bulls. We were on the wrong side of that one as well. And then Milwaukee losing to San Antonio, also on the wrong side of that. I like the Jazz tonight. I do like the Jazz tonight. I think that, Giannis, I think the Jazz are the type of team that can control Giannis. And I think Giannis has had a couple huge games against the Jazz in the past, but I don't, I just don't see this Bucks team until they get Drew Holiday back, until Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. I don't see them being able to be like, oh yeah, we can just dominate a team like the Jazz. They're going to be able to dominate bad teams. I know it didn't happen really with San Antonio. I know San Antonio's all right. They're not bad. But I have a feeling that the Jazz come out here and play pretty well and then kind of contain Giannis. And if you can do that, and you don't have Drew Holiday, you don't have Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, if you can contain Giannis, I think it's a done deal for these guys. So the Jazz are 1.5 point favorites. The total is 223. I'm either on Jazz -1.5 or the money line. So keep an eye on the pinned comments there. I think it's like right now, at least in my book, it was minus 115 odds versus minus 130 for the money line. So I might be just looking money line to try and save a little bit there. But definitely keep an eye on the pinned comments. I am on the Jazz side of things here. I think that they are the better basketball team when fully healthy, and they're healthy. Moving on, Pistons versus the Nets. The Nets are 12.5-point favorites. You guys know how I feel about double-digit point spreads. Even though the Pistons are the Pistons and the Nets are the Nets, I don't think I'm going to be touching this one. Like, it's a perfect scenario where Brooklyn would absolutely go off, right? Detroit's coming off of a win. They have a back-to-back. Brooklyn's had a day's rest. They're coming off a win. Like, I think the Nets can definitely punk the Pistons right now and just absolutely pop off on them. But I just don't love the fact of giving 12.5 points. Like, the Nets have been really inconsistent so far. They can control this game and still win by 8. So I'm going to be off of that 12.5 points. But what I am looking at is that over. Now, everyone's saying this game is going to be an under. It's 215. I think it's a 214.5 right now. I think I might try and get that in soon because I could see that going to 215 easily. Here's what I'm thinking. I don't know if people are really valuing, the average points per game, I guess, of Detroit. But in their last 3 games, they've scored over 100 points. They scored 104, 102, and 110. Now, they started the year scoring 88 and 82, so that's going to weigh their season average down, obviously. But at 214.5 points, that just seems too low to me when you have a team like the Nets on one side of the ball. Like, the Nets can go out there and score 120 points tonight and let Detroit score 97 or something. So to me, I'm all over the over here. I think that the Nets were finally going to see, or at least I should say, we have been waiting for sort of a pop-off scenario from them at home here. It's not like Detroit clamps up defensively. I really do think that Detroit comes out here and gives the Nets a little bit more of a run for their money than we're thinking, allowing the Nets kind of get competitive and run the pace up. So I do love the over here. And I think Brooklyn's going to carry most of the weight, but I think people are sleeping on how many points Detroit has scored recently, so I'm going over 214.5 in this one. All right, last game, but not least, we do have the Lakers versus the Rockets. Lakers are 12-point favorites. The total is 222. This one's a tough one for me. The Lakers, I think you can make the argument that they're starting to look a little better. Russell Westbrook starts to look like he knows what he's doing, but we're just basing that off of, like, one win, and it's against Cleveland. Like, I don't know what to think of the Lakers yet. I know they have so many question marks on them. I believe Anthony Davis is probable, but to me, that's just a lot of points to give to a team in Houston who obviously they're not a good basketball team, but they are 2-3 against the spread this year. Like, they're not like they can't cover. So I am going to be probably staying away from this game. Houston to me isn't a good ball club, but 12 points, I think any NBA team can hang 12 points with another NBA team, especially if that other team that's giving you the points has been pretty damn inconsistent. So those are my against the spread and total picks tonight, guys. We do have one last segment here. We have the player prop of the night, and I'm following my man Austin from Calling Our Shot again. He's a great guy. I've talked to him. He's been on fire with the player props. I think he's had like 3 or 4 days in a row where he is absolutely on fire. And I'm riding with another one of his tonight. He gave us Giannis under 53.5 PRAs last night. I'm riding with another one from him. Miles Bridges. I'm going to say Mikal Bridges. Miles Bridges over 26.5 points plus rebounds. I don't have this on my book just yet, but I am going to be looking for that. But keep a pinned eye on the pinned comments down below because I might go with his PRAs depending on the number, but I love the idea of points and rebounds, 26.5. So if you guys have that, I strongly suggest throwing that in there because he has been on a tear. I think that he could, against a Blazers team where I picture this game is going to be a run and gun type style, he could literally have his points plus rebounds and cover that with just his points the way that he's been playing. So I think that's a really, really good number. And Portland doesn't play any defense. Charlotte doesn't really play any defense. So I think that both these teams are going to be running up and down the floor. I think that, this could be a huge night for him. And the fact that you can, pretty much think that it's even possible that he covers his points plus rebounds number with just points, that's got to be a value play all day long. So that's going to be the player prop of the night. Again, keep an eye on the pinned comment to make sure what I was able to get in. But I suggest pulling the trigger on that even if I don't. So, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. We got to bounce back. We're bleeding. You should see the blood just coming out my back. I can't show it 'cause it's on YouTube. We need some gauze. We got to stop the bleeding. We got to take an adrenaline shot, and we got to move in the other direction. I'm confident we will. I'm having a blast doing this. Shout out to all the real ones. I love the love in the comments. Love the haters in the comments, too. Love you guys. I know you're trying to get under my skin, but I love you. But we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.